Hi, everyone. Welcome to Domain Sherpa, and thanks for tuning in. We've got a brand new Domain Sherpa review today featuring Adam, Ammar, and Jen. I'm a bit under the weather, hence the sound of my voice, so we have to keep it a bit short today, but we still play the domain game featuring fullforce.io and yourride.com. And then we've got the NameJetGonnaJet segment sponsored by NameJet, and we talk about some domains coming up for auction, including tactical.org, popups.com, and purified.com. There's also two domains on the NameJet list today, goldengloves.com and buttholesurfers.com, that spur a conversation about IP rights and trademarks. And the Sherpas also share some broad guidance on what makes certain auction domains especially interesting to them. And remember, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you can also watch the video version at domainsherpa.com and on our YouTube channel at ds.tv. You can also listen to the shows on Apple and Spotify and other podcast platforms as well. Also, we are now integrating our shows with Muse.ai, which provides new search functionality for the shows and transcripts as well. So definitely check all that out. And big shout out to Dan.com, the #1 place in the world to buy and sell your domains, with a special platform made for domain investors. With that, it's now time to get into this episode of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. So let's go. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, a.k.a. JT, a.k.a. Jay On, a.k.a. Sherpa Winfrey, and I'm the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. I'm a little under the weather, but we're here. Our boy Drew was here earlier, but he had to go because he was even worse than I am, and it's probably best for everybody listening and watching to not have to go through seeing him in that kind of shape. But we're still here doing what we're doing. We're going to keep it short today, but we are going to bring you guys the quality content that you're used to, all the quality content that you're paying for. And, today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become more successful domain name investors ourselves. As I say in every show, these are the experts. It is my privilege to be here. They're not even my guests. They are my co-hosts. They are my friends. They are my peoples. And, let's go ahead. We're going to get into the AKAs in a second, because we start with the grand opening, where I intro the Sherpas, see what's going on with them. We talk about some related, unrelated things. We got the domain game. We probably do an abbreviated version of the domain game, where we hear about what the Sherpas bought and sold. Everybody guesses on the price. We give out some swag. We say we're going to give out some swag. We actually give out swag. I don't know, it's in process. It's all good. It's like there's a process bar. It's like, it's kind of like held up, or the thing's just spinning. And then we got NameJetGonnaJet, sponsored by our friends at NameJet, where we review a list of domains coming up for auction, see what the Sherpas like and what they don't like. And then we finally hit grand closing, where we cover anything we haven't already talked about. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. Over to my right, I got my boy Ammar Kuba, a.k.a. King Kuba, a.k.a. Danny Ocean, a.k.a. the even greater Gatsby, a.k.a. Ammar Zan, a.k.a. LL Ammar J. Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years, a.k.a. Kuba Soze. What's happening, my dude? What's going on?
What's going on? I like Kuba Soze.
Kuba Soze, man. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like that, he's gone. All right. That's what we do. That's what we do. All right. Let me keep it moving. Lower right, I got my boy Adam Strong, a.k.a. John Wick, a.k.a. Up and Adam, a.k.a. Adamantium, a.k.a. Adam, you're only as strong as your weakest back link, a.k.a. strong to quite strong. How's your portfolio, Fokker? What's going on, man? How are you?
Portfolio Fokker. I don't get that one.
Because the Meet the Parents, where he's like, hey, because he's a male nurse. And they kind of give him a hard time about that. And the in-law brothers are like, or actually it was the father-in-law, who's a successful guy. It's like, how's your portfolio, Fokker? And clearly a guy who doesn't invest in stocks, Fokker was like, oh, it's strong to quite strong, so it was like, that's the reference, man.
Long route to the AKA.
That's how we do. Hey, everything's justified though. It's all got a reason. Might not be a good one, but we got reasons. All right. And last but certainly not least, below me, we got my girl, Jen Sale, aka Aussie Osborne, aka Olivia Newton-Jen, aka Rockadile Dundee, aka Dingo Star, aka the Wonder Woman from Down Under Woman. Let's go, aka Melbourne to be wild, aka Sipping on Jen and Juice. And I think that's and AKA Alice from our Down the Rabbit Hole series, and AKA wait a minute, her Jen Sale Strong Silver. She's got her two dads behind her in her background. You know what I'm saying?
You're
Shout out
only
to
as strong as your last sale. Come on.
ooh yeah, or Jen. If you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it because our stuff never goes on sale. Let's go. See, I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll today. I don't feel good, so I pounded some Celsius and. Shout out to Celsius. We're doing it. We're doing it today. And shout out to Elliot Silver. You know what I'm saying? Like he's here in spirit. You know, I'm looking at him, you know. I'm holding his head like a baby, like a little baby. All right. Oh man. It is gonna be like that.
Oh yeah, it is.
So what's up, everybody? What's going on, y'all? What you doing?
I'm not sure how I got back on this show. Like, this is not contractually what I was like
I
signing
know.
up for.
That's you got to talk to your agent. You know, it's like, how did I end up here? This is ridiculous. How did I end up in Topeka signing copies of my book here at this mall? You know, but yeah, here we are. And anyway, so like I said, we only have a little bit of time. We're definitely going to do. We got a NameJet list to look at. You want to do it a little abbreviated domain game? You know, Mar, you got a domain to talk about. You got a buy or a sell. You want to share with everybody?
Let me see. I'm sure I can pull up a quick buy or a big quick sell. I have been, as I've been tweeting a little bit more lately, I have been more active on the auctions. It's kind of fun to get back on that. Let's see.
Well, that's what I think is, you know, that's one of the underrated things. And, you know, and I miss that about NameJet. You know, I used to watch all the activity during the day to see, like, you know, and we used to, you know, when the stuff started popping off on big names, like we would be around and we'd be like, you know, we'd have internal like team, everyone would guess what a name would close at,
right?
You know, and whoever was closest to the pin over the course of a day, if we had a couple that were like, you know, sort of marquee names that were going off, and a lot of excitement.
And that's,
you know?
it is fun. And that's why actually I mentioned that I'm excited about the list we're talking about, because I think there's some good names on there.
All right.
So,
yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to just jump into that, or if you want to talk about some name sales.
Let's do a little domain game. If you and Adam want to each give us a name, I think Adam has one he wants to share.
Okay,
so
go for it, Adam.
Oh, wait, it's me? I thought you were sharing.
No, you got to go first. You go first, and while we go in order.
All right. Wait, who's first?
Oh, cool. You are. Because of where you are on my screen, which you can't see, but I'm telling you that you were.
All right. So I sold. Okay, here's a .io.
Ooh, okay.
So these are fullforce.io.
Fullforce.io. All right. And everyone, if you remember, we put it on our phones.
By the way, this is what I've been doing lately, spending too much time.
Ooh.
Way too much time. I can't stop. I'm freaking addicted to this shit.
Yo, you got to get Josh.
Like,
Shout out
I played 5 hours on Saturday.
Yo, we got to get
5 hours. I played twice. I played in the afternoon, went home, and then I played again at night.
Yo, I love it. Well, so you know, obviously Josh has been playing a lot of.
I know. I was texting with him a little bit. He's obviously on a whole nother level.
Dude, they almost beat like one of the top ranked teams in the world. I mean, he's not playing like he is like legit. I saw some of the video from it, and it's just like, I mean, it's cool, man. They're doing big things, and you know, I have all the stuff in my garage because we moved, and that's why I have nothing on my wall. So we'll see what this is going to shape up to look like. But I have the kit to put outside, and my kids keep asking me. I'm like, I know.
I'm coming for you.
Let's go. Let's go. Are you coming with me full force? Is that what you're saying? All right. So fullforce.io.
Right.
All right, here we go. Are we ready? Let's go. Ready to flip that phone, Jen? Ooh, okay. Okay. Adam jumping the gun a little. I'll come at it too. All right. Jen, what do you got? Let's go. Don't change it. Don't change it. Jen Sale Silver Strong. Oh, all
Holy
right. So
shit.
for those of you who are listening and not watching, I'm at $3,999. Adam is at $7,823.61, and Jen is at was that 18,999, 18,888. So
Yeah.
we've got a pretty good spread
What
starting
were you at, JT?
3,999.
JT wins. You guys way overestimated me on this one. So this is
Boom, by the way.
sometimes, yeah, it was 2,500. So
Yeah.
my pricing is very, I should probably take Seiger's course properly, because I'm very, very much kind of like just, I literally don't, a lot of times, I don't look stuff up or whatever. So I think I just priced that one. And I'm like, okay, I'll just put a buy now on it. And it was a bin.
Well, I actually think, and I think part of this is a byproduct of Adam and Jen just dealing in the high end of the market, so much so it's like, they probably don't slum it with us here in the 2word.ios, but I think that's really what you sold it for to me makes sense, I think. And then this is one of those, which is like a lot of domains. We say this on the show all the time. The money's made on the buy, not necessarily on the sell, because I think you're going to, the price you sold it for is typically like, the price you're going to sell that kind of domain for, unless you find like an end user and just that hit home run kind of thing, and the timing was perfect. So what did you buy it for, and how long have you had it?
That's what I'm looking up right now. So I normally, would be selling those for a lot higher or asking a lot higher, but this was a NameJet name back when they did have the .ios.
Mm-hmm.
It was $236.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of what I mean. So you 10x the thing. You probably bought it like 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like a pretty, do I think maybe you could have squeezed a little bit more paper out of it? Yes, but not a lot more. I actually think you did fine. I mean, you 10x'd it. So,
right. And so
this is why Jen doesn't like to be on the DomainSherpa reviews, because she just like, she's like, what? I don't deal with names that are literally not absolute killers, but I'll just throw it. So she's like $20,000.
Right. No, and
it's a weird extension.
We've done some alternative extensions lately, some nice premiums, and they sold really well. So that's why exactly. Like I'm not dabbling in that, but so I don't know.
I like how you're able to even squeeze in like, oh, hey, we're super successful and awesome at what we do. And
well, to give you an example, I sold two other .ios last month for 10x that, right? So it just depends, right? On the thing. But if you think about, let's talk about that real quick. If that were .com, fullforce.com, what would you price that at?
10x what you sold it for, right? Or $30,000.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, is like, even the .com, I don't think you'd price it more than $50K, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it's kind of like, is the .com completely unobtainable?
No, of course. Which I didn't even check. This was completely off the cuff kind of pricing, right?
It's not a buy now. It was not a buy now, or was
it? Was a buy now. But when I do my buy nows, I'm just telling you, I look at my spreadsheet, I'm like, that's 2,500. All right, that's 10K. That's 100K, whatever.
Yeah,
him and his wife, they needed to go out to dinner. He's like, I gotta pull quick 2 G's in so we could go. Like, we're going to a Cirque du Soleil show tonight.
Right. JT, you're not far off, because it's like you need these little sales to kind of just keep things going, right? Keep the lights on. I had a $2,000 or a $1,500 renewal bill yesterday, just on one day. And you get those, multiple times a month, right? So you need these singles to pay for those.
Yeah, and it's still a 10x, with less than a 2-year hold. So
what were you saying, Adam?
Yeah, no. So if it makes you feel any better, I mean, I'm sure fullforce.com, the casino company, probably wouldn't have spent that kind of money. So
oh no, is that who?
Oh shit. Okay, nice.
Well, and I was actually going to say that before when I was saying, like, absent hitting a home run, if you were selling this and just throwing it up as a buy now, selling it relatively quickly, that's the price you're going to look for, and that's the price you're going to get. If you're going to get to the end user, well, then it's a question of, okay, who's using it? What's the commercial viability? And it's all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it sounds like, we all slept on that because,
all right. Now that you know that a casino company owns fullforce.com.
Yeah.
And hindsight being 2020, would you have priced it for more if you'd done that research? If you didn't have,
I really think even if I would have done that research, because if they have the .com, I don't know why they're going to buy the .io, right? So, but you're saying it's not obtainable. That makes it so.
Go ahead.
It makes it not obtainable. So then, in theory, then your second tier extensions go up, right? So, but I still think I would have priced that at most probably 10K, right? At most, I don't think I would have priced it more than 10K. If I wanted to sell it, right? I have some names that I'm just weird about that I overprice because I just have this weird, affinity for the name, right? But Full Force is not one of those. So I think 10K is probably, if I spent more time on it, is probably what I would have probably priced it at 9,900.
Well, that's good feedback. I'm actually now playing a lot of online blackjack as we speak.
What would you have priced it at, Adam?
I mean, IO's a little bit different beast. I mean, I guess I don't buy now. I mean, most of my stuff isn't buy now. And I guess, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would price it at.
That's not helpful.
Well, because I don't do buy now.
Give the viewers what they want.
Let's talk about it in a minute. How about
it? All right. Fair enough. All right. So speaking of which, you said you've got a name that you're going to want to throw out here in the domain game. So why don't you go ahead and do that? And then we can come back around.
Okay. This was brokered by my broker, evergreen.com. Really excellent broker over there named Jen Sale took care of this transaction.
Jen Sale Silver.
Yeah, Jen Sale Silver Strong.
Oh, no, it was just Jen Sale originally. It is Your Ride. So it's YOURRIDE.com. Your Sale. Brokered by Sale.
Yourride.com. All right. Okay. All right.
Well, I got to look up how much I sold it for. Jen, text me.
Oh, wait a minute. So really, this is just me and Ammar now, right? Just guessing on this one. So it's just you and I because Jen obviously knows. So,
Right.
All right. Well, let's go, Ammar. Don't be looking at stuff. I see you. You should.
I'm not.
Well, then where's your phone? You got to get your phone.
Right here, bro.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is the rubber's about to meet the road. All right,
boys.
We're at 49,000 for Ammar, $149,999.
Is it because Jen brokered it? Is that, what's the?
I actually think I'm too high. If I had a do-over, I'd probably put it at 40.
No way. I actually think I'm too low. Here's why. Because I know that Evergreen deals with high-end stuff. And I think that Jen's very good at what she does. So that's why I want.
Apparently not that good.
Well, why? We don't know. We don't know what the answer is.
I know, you're right. We don't know. What's the answer?
We shall see, Ammar. We shall see.
I'm not sure why you guys are pricing it that high, but okay.
See? What's the number?
300.
Oh,
what?
Bam.
Holy shit.
See, I told you that I knew I was low. I told you I knew I was low.
So, Ammar, you had a perfect lead into this. That's why I didn't speak about it too much because I didn't want to tip the hand a little on this, what the results of the sale were. But this one was, if I, Jen and I talked about it, what would I have sold this one for? If I buy it up, I really, I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I don't want the buyer to see this someday and go, oh.
Well, it doesn't. But that is the nature. They needed the name. They were willing to pay for it, and so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, there's a weird backstory to it. I can't go into complete detail on it, but it involves like another domain that I had in my portfolio that's somewhat similarly related, that sold, that somebody else came after, that had made an offer. You know, it was all through, this is all a result of having a broader portfolio and kind of seeing a little bit of a trend. And then the trend actually was unrelated. So it'd be like somebody created a car called Your Ride, and then, you know, and then some Chinese company came out and wanted it, and then we sold it to somebody else, and then somebody else comes and wants it. So it was a convoluted way of kind of coming up with a price. And interestingly, we had just made the assumption that it was this other domain that was related. They were coming back. I mean, right, Jen? I mean, that was kind of your.
That's what we thought, that it was adjacent to that other one, but now not so sure. So
yeah, not at all. I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But yeah. So like, having that kind of knowledge of another potential acquirer kind of made me elevate the price. I mean, this one's gotten a lot of interest over the years. Ammar, I think you and I might even talked about this in like some sort of like way. We were talking about like, you've got some automotive related names.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about like building it.
And Lau had rides.com or ride.com, if I recall correctly.
And
so
also tell us, don't forget to tell us how much you bought it for and how long you had it.
That's the one thing I do not know. I think I bought it on drop. Give me a second and I'll pull up another computer here and find that out. But an interesting,
that's a crazy number for that name. That name, like, I would not have priced it that. I would have probably priced it at $100K.
Yeah, I don't think I even would have. I don't know. You really would price it at 100K. I mean,
well, again, it's affinity stuff, right? So I love car names, right? So for me, those usually get priced higher than other names, right? And so it just depends. 50 to 100K is where I would have priced it.
I won the point in the domain game. I just would like to make that point.
Yes, you did, JT. Okay,
so
JT,
we can ask Ammar everything, what he thinks about it. And if you want to know why he was wrong, that's fine.
So this was bought in 2004, and I paid
20 years ago.
It was on Snap Names. So in 2004 on Snap Names, I probably got really raked over the coals on this one by Nelson Brady. aka Alvarez.
Oh, Alvarez. Wow, we're really doing that.
He ran me up on this one. I mean, it kind of hurts going back and looking at this and knowing that he probably ran me up to the tune of $132.
Yo, by the way, you hit a lot of motions right there. Like, this is you went all the way back to Alvarez, and then you did the little rope a dope, and then you're like, bam, $130 turned into $300,000 on a 20-year hold, though. On a 20-year hold. What can you think offhand what probably is the biggest offer you've turned down during that 20 years for that domain?
So I don't know if it was this particular buyer that started the negotiations, but the negotiations on this one's the negotiations with a GoDaddy broker on this one started in September of last year. Mm-hmm. But the sale of the other name that was somewhat related, and I say it was somewhat related because it was an automotive type of name, we thought. That one occurred in 2020. And then in 21, we got some interest. Since I own the name and the other name and sold it to somebody else, they couldn't find the current owner, so they came to us directly. Anyway, long story short, I've known about this names. It's gotten offers of like 1,000 range, a couple thousand, nothing significant.
Right.
GoDaddy came out of the gate with like maybe 2,000, 5,000. I don't know. I have a whole string of like, no, back and forth with GoDaddy. And I didn't put a buy it now price on it at any point until late. And I just decided to just hammer it with like a $500,000 price tag, I think. And so
Wow.
I think the last offer GoDaddy gave me, it was in January, and it was half the sale price. So
Okay.
Wow. So that's
now,
still, so that's a little bit cheating, because when somebody's coming in through a GoDaddy buy service, that then there's probably a legit buyer.
All I know is when Adam sold the name,
not
he looked,
necessarily. I mean, really, Ammar? I mean, like
More so,
mostly
yeah.
good.
I just think when Adam sold the name, he looked just like he did in the picture behind Jen. That the joy of selling at such a high price. And congratulations, by the way.
That's a
yeah,
great
I mean,
sale.
those are the types of sales that is like, that's why people think all domainers are just, that are successful are killing it like that, because, when they hear of those kind of sales, those are the ones that make people feel like, oh my God, I got to go start investing in domain names. But, but it does show you 20 years, and, you turn down probably, like you said, multiple $1,000 plus offers that at the time would have been 10x what you paid. To think, hey, I could take, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 off the table. I mean, it takes a good bit. Now, granted, like you said, you sold the name that you sold in 2020, had some little bit of sort of activity after that, kind of let you know, hey, this name's worth more than that. You'd obviously held on to it at for that long in the first place. I think it's a really great domain. I mean, Your Ride, like these kinds of things, cars, ride shares, like, automotive. I mean, kind of Ammar's point about, there's certain sort of buckets of names that you really like. And I do think that where you have them almost like phrases and things that can be really sort of really clean and actionable and, usable. And no, I think this one's a really good one. I think that, would I have guessed 300K? No. And if I hadn't known it was you guys that had sold it, would I have guessed as much as I did? No. Meaning like knowing that you guys who have sold it, in the way that you kind of sort of framed it, made me think it was a good sale. So those things all play into it. But
yeah, that's amazing.
I think a lot of it just goes back to, Ammar selling, me discovering that a casino company owned Full Force. Would that have changed? That there's so much that goes into pricing. I mean, you just can't price without all the information, and information changes quickly. I call it the tsunami effect of domains, like where a term like ChatGPT is just hit, and all of a sudden that becomes. I mean, most of my biggest sales have come from either getting in front of a new terminology or just being aware of this is a rising term. I mean, all of my big sales have been that way.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think actually, I mean, I can say that too, just, seeing the activity on the MediaOptions and with Drew's domains and things like that.
Suddenly, Drew's talking to us right now about a one-worder that I have that, quite frankly, I haven't done any. I have buy now prices on some of my names, and usually they're like bloated prices, but that's only because this broker is always getting on me to put buy now prices on my names. But
who would that be?
I don't know, but
multi-hyphenate herself.
I will say that our just a insider glimpse into what we do. Like I would say that, don't you think that over the last 6 months, our pricing strategy has changed in the way that we also do it? Like it's very, instead of just being give me a number or whatever, we actually jump on the phone and we go through it and we look at what's going on, and we actually do some research in real time and collaborate on what we're thinking is going on. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. It's not just we're just pick a number, which maybe in the past we used to do that, but we're more deep diving into what.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I just think I think the difference between somebody that's as somebody that holds the domains, it's easy for people that aren't holding the names to go, just give me a freaking price. But I think that just the dynamic nature of technology, the world just always coming up with new phrases and new terms and new things. I mean, every day somebody out there is selling a name for, $1,000 that, might be the next whatever ChatGPT. So I don't know. I just think it's prudent for you, if you own a name, to maximize your revenue, and the only way to do that is to kind of slow down a little bit, I think. So buy nows don't do that. There are some names that buy now prices just make sense, fullforce.io was that would I put a buy now on it? Probably. I don't blame you for that sale. Like, I mean, it's kind of like it is the lower end of in terms of your portfolio. It's not like the super important names that hold a higher value. But obviously we all thought you could get more out of it. So and that was, but I didn't even look at, I didn't type in fullforce.com before I put that number up. I did it after we started talking. So
he's like, Ammar, you got to do better, man. You got to take more time pricing your names. He's
I don't
he
know.
played 5 hours of pickleball yesterday, man. He didn't have time to be digging into who had the fullforce.com.
Right, I mean, that is part of it also, is like, I more than anybody, I always say I'm lazy, right? So I just, whatever, go through, and when I'm bored, I'll price some names, and then, it's just, I tell everybody this, I don't do this the right way. I don't do this business the right way. So it's kind of like it's fun. And so if I can make some money doing it, great. Right. And then to Adam's point, for my really good names, I don't, those ones are priced properly. Right. And those ones I will spend more time on.
Look, dude, we've talked about this.
I think you're doing okay, Ammar. I think
you're doing great, Ammar, and I'm happy to help you, dog. That's the thing, Adam has Jen, Drew has me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got you too, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk after this. I feel like this is like an intervention. So
I'm gonna go play some pickleball right after this.
It's like we had 2 example domains, and unfortunately, you put Ammar on his heels today because they had Adam and Jen came in with the big sale. But hey, man, you can't complain about 10xing your money in less than 2 years. Let's go, people. Right. Let's keep it in perspective as we move on to NameJetGonnaJet. Either way,
but congrats on that. That's a great sale.
Yeah, awesome.
Both of you guys. That's really
look,
good.
those are the ones that those are the big home runs that make a lot of the other stuff worth it, and they're not easy to get. It was a 20-year hold. Let's not lose sight of that.
That to me is, that really is a very, very, very important factor that people need to keep in mind. I mean, Adam had to hold that, renew it, and and turn down. I mean, it sounds like there weren't any huge offers, but you did at one point turn down half that, right? Yeah. So that's a legit. I don't know. Most people would not have turned that down.
Dude,
so that
for sure. There, I don't think people would have gotten to the 150 because it took a lot.
I'm actually surprised you turned that.
Here's
down.
the thing: when you bought that domain, you didn't have kids. You may not even have been married. You know what I'm saying? Think about how long of a time frame that is, dude. Definitely, you don't have 20 years left. We barely have 20 years left in us to buy names now that we can wait that long to sell down the road.
That was my kids. That's my kids' college tuition right there. But $132 investment.
Well, and I think that's the thing about domains that I think is very important is that people have to understand that this is not like, and we talk about it, Braden and, and Drew, and, you have to be in this for a while with the ability to be patient, with the ability to withstand, ebbs and flows and different things. And and the ability to be able to say no, the power of being able to say no, if you truly can, could result in, but here's the thing, you say no to $100,000 offer and then you never get, you could end up never even getting close to that. So it's like,
you're going to kick yourself later if there's
so much that goes.
I wouldn't encourage people to do what I did. The knowledge, the information that I had was a little bit unique. And
we do that too with our own names where it's like, look, we'll say, hey, we know that there is an ultimate buyer out there who, whether we know them, identity wise or just based off of activity or some other way, there are definitely times where we're like, there is a buyer out there that we will pay $500,000 for this domain. Therefore, we are not going to sell it for less than that. And, and that's part of why it's like,
I wouldn't have expected this, like based on what we know right now. I would not have expected this amount of money from, if this buyer came to me and I knew who they were and they, directly came through those channels, and then I didn't have that past information, I would never expected that I would have got to that spot. So sometimes that's another lesson is like, you look at a buyer and you're like, oh, well, they're a casino company. Well, I could squeeze $100,000 out of them. Not necessarily, they're going to have a budget. And then you look at I don't know, a retail establishment that sells dishwashers. I don't know, like appliance center, and you say,
Yeah.
oh, these guys don't have that much money. And so you just don't know. You don't know what's going on the, behind the scenes, or who's even making the inquiry. Is it really them making the inquiry? So,
Oh, dude. I mean, I think that's the thing is that, so let's leave it with the quick point and then we'll jump to the NameJetGonnaJet. We'll run through that pretty quick and then we're going to jump off. But, information is key. Having, whether the research, whatever information is available, taking advantage of that. And then also timing, timing is just like with many investments is just so critical because it's subjective and it comes and it goes. And, sometimes you can wait and hit the home run. Sometimes you too early. Sometimes you miss those opportunities. So, we talk to our sellers all the time that, turn down amazing offers. I mean, shit, when you look at like just what happened, this also goes back to the point you made before, Adam, about how trends really drive big sales. During the big NFT Web3 wave from 2 years ago, we had clients that were holding out for millions of dollars for certain domains. We had $1 million offers. They were like, nope, 2 million's not good enough. I want 5. It's like, okay. And then now those are never coming back. You know what I mean? So it's like, now they'd be lucky to get $50,000 for a domain. So it's like, you have to strike while the iron's hot, and it's a sweet science, baby. It really is, so it's all good. And it's great when it works. So congratulations. All good.
MediaOptions is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, MediaOptions offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. MediaOptions believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
Let's dive into the list. Let's get a little NameJetGonnaJet right now. You guys have the list? Do I need to send it to anybody? I know I sent it to y'all previously, but dive into that. Let's go.
Yeah, got the list.
All right. Get your lists. As I say that, I am looking for it myself. All right. So who do we want to start with? Why don't we start with Jen? And why don't you talk to us? What do you like? What don't you like? What's good?
Love me some butthole surfers. But
why did you
I
pick
do
that name, JT?
Because it's like, they were the band. I actually brought it up more or less to have the conversation about IP, to kind of see like, hey, what do you guys think about a domain like this? Right. So, this is a well-known, rock band that obviously owns rights to this. Like, that's the only way I've ever heard of it. It's the only reason I would think that the domain appraisal that it has. Oh, by the way, for the NameJetGonnaJet segment, as you guys know, go to our actual website at domainsherpa.com. Go to the post for this episode, and you can download the Excel sheet that has all of the domains, all of these, all the domains on the list. They're all expiring domains. There's the amount of time, the amount of back orders as of the time we tape the show, how many days left in the back order period as of when we air the show, which would be about 2 days from when we record. And they're all no reserve expiring auctions, which means if you want to participate, you have to have a back order in before the end of the back order period. So just make sure you go do that, grab the list, check it out. We throw some other data on there as well, as including the Esteban appraisals, but please take those with a grain of salt. I have to say that every time like one dude was like, oh, you guys talk about Esteban appraisals as if that's, it's like, oh man, okay. Now I'm disclaiming constantly. I don't know. I feel kind of weird about it. Anyway, but yeah, so it's got an Esteban appraisal of $88,000. Yeah. I don't know that there is any other use of this domain except for the purpose of the band. So do you even bid on something like this, or do you we got Elliot Silver in the background of Jen's background, and this would be a very Elliot Silver move, as he is a very, what's the word I'm looking for? What'd you say?
He's a butthole.
Yeah. Where he would reach out and tweet at them and be like, hey, your domain is is expiring on NameJet. Like, go get it. You know what I mean? Like, don't let it, but what you think?
Yeah, look, yeah, I agree with you. I'm not sure what the use case would be for a name like that because it's so specific to the band who I think they like disbanded like, I don't know, maybe like 2000 and like 15-ish, maybe. I'm not sure. But I don't think they're like actively like playing or producing music or anything anymore. So it's almost like a legacy band. So then does someone buy it then to turn it into like a fan site? I'm not sure. And then how do you make money off of that? I don't know.
Yep,
I mean, it's a fun name, but
well, they've been on hiatus since 2016, so you're right.
okay.
Now, their record label, I don't depending on, if they were signed to a major, I don't, who they were signed to, but if they're labeled, because here's the thing, you might look at that and say, oh, well, the band doesn't play anymore. They don't care. They're off doing whatever. I follow the lead singer on Twitter and he's now, he tweets all about wrestling or soccer or whatever. Like, he's off, not even doing music. And it's like, but the label very well may care about somebody trying to leverage their IP in a way that they don't have rights to. And you're right. I think it's an important point to make that, maybe you could have a fan site, but if you tried to make any money off of it, including affiliate links or selling merch or whatever, like the minute you try to actually monetize it, now you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to get a UDRP potentially, and then you're going to lose the name. So then there's this sort of risk reward kind of analysis that needs to be done. But it's just such a crazy name of a band. It's funny. It's like, I never really thought about it, back in the day, it was just like, oh, that's just the name of the band. They're the Butthole Surfers. But like, what? Like, where did the name come from? Like, where did y'all like what?
That's true. How did you come up with that name?
And to think, that's the one we're going to use, and I'm sure it's, sitting around getting high or whatever. They're like, yo, we're going to be the Butthole Surfers. Like, is it me? Yeah. Like, are you surfing
I wouldn't touch
buttholes?
that with my 10-foot pole.
Exactly right. Are you surfing buttholes or are you just a bunch of buttholes who surf?
Yes.
The answer is yes, no doubt. All right, so what else?
I do like pop-ups.
Okay.
Just because there's the whole pop-up shop trend that's happening. But then it's also like I like it from a point of view that it is the plural, but then you've also got pop-up, and then I'm not sure, like from a tech point of view, whether pop-ups are going to be around for too much longer, pop-up advertising. So I think I'd be leaning more into that like tangible side of the business. If I was to buy that, I wouldn't necessarily try to flip that to a pop-up locker.
Right.
Although they might pick it up and those guys make a ton of cash. But that's probably the other one I like.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, that's good. And what about you guys? Which ones jump out as good, bad? Ammar, what are you thinking?
Let's see. So I definitely like pop-ups. So I feel like there's a bunch of good names on here. I don't know if any of them are like incredible, but I think there's a lot of potential value here. So I liked pop-ups. Tactical for .org, I think is fantastic. Big Bear Lake is out here in California. Well, actually, I'm in Vegas right now, but it's in California, and it's a big ski resort area. So that's one that I like. I'll probably be bidding on that. Complete Sleep is good. Golden Gloves, maybe one of you guys would know. That's a great name for a boxing site. But I don't know is that a trademark?
Yeah, so that and I love Golden Gloves. Like, if Drew was on here, it would be good to get his take on this because I know he would have some feelings about this. I think that I love the name. Yes, there is Golden Gloves of America is like the organization that effectively it's like I think it's the amateur boxing is like that's who coordinates and all of that good stuff. Their site, I was actually just Googling that. Because their site is like Golden Gloves USA type of deal. Or it's
right.
goldenglovesusa.org. So then I think it really becomes a trademark question. So this is a good episode in general to talk a little bit about, IP and trademarks and whatnot, because you really do have to be careful because we talked about it with the Butthole Surfers, right? And then, you know, and beyond that, what's even more to the point here, right? Because the commercial use of butthole surfers is pretty limited, even without the band, right?
Right.
But golden gloves could be really cool in a couple levels, and you could literally just sell gloves like mittens and winter gear and like things like that, or like, you know, some other, you know, when
but you can't go anywhere close to boxing then, right?
I don't think so, but I'm I'm interested to kind of pull up a USPTO site search and see. I would think they have to have golden gloves trademark, you know.
I would assume so too. So that one again jumped out. I'll be bidding on several of these, but I think there's several of them that have good value where you can make, depending on what they sell for. I think these could be good, you know, singles and doubles. I don't think there's any home runs here, but some quite good singles and doubles.
Oh, and I mean, and there's plenty to there's plenty of money to be made in those.
Right, exactly. What do you think, Adam? Although Adam and Jen will probably sell it for, you know, $500,000.
I was gonna say, is there any your rides in here? I mean, you know, like to that point though, like Big Bear Lake is generic, Butthole Surfers is a trademark, Collector Cars is generic, Complete Sleep is a little bit more brandy, so that, I mean, you have the potential to go a little bit deeper on a price maybe, and I ask. Deal Making seems a little too generic. Golden Gloves is brand. Eye Shine is a brand, but it's kind of using the eye. It's a little bit, you know, we talked about that, I don't know, a couple episodes ago, I guess. I don't mind that one. Modern.
Yeah, that one could be interesting.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
Eye Shine.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what,
because it's not like related to tech actually. It's not related to Apple or tech. It's like I feel like it's like a maybe self-empowerment site or journaling or whatever.
Wellness, I think exactly. Eye Shine.
It's positive, super positive name, and has I, and so I in a non-tech use. I with a verb, right? So or noun too. Pop-ups I like. Again, it's the generics. The Premier Audio potential, but you know,
there's a Premier Audio in every city, right?
Yeah, that's how I looked at one of those, and that's like a Josh Reason kind of name, or even like a, you know, like an Alvin Brown, like talks about like, you know, where you have businesses across the country that use something probably similar to that, you know, them cornering the market on that brand really is special for them, you know, if they can do that. And it really should be worth to any one of them several thousand. You just think from a marketing standpoint, right? Instead of your Premier Audio Kansas, or not even Kansas, but it'd be like Topeka, right? Or something, you know, because you have to get like super like regional or even, you know, geographical with it. It's like just be premieraudio.com. I mean, if the guy coming to install your home stereo system shows up and that's the name that's on the van, you're like, damn, you did a good job, dog. You did a great job with your domain. And you know, and then it gives them full branch out, you know?
Yeah.
Franchise.
Yeah. Purified is okay. I like that one. Tech Squad.
I think it's a big one. That's one that I didn't mention because of like the whole water trend. Like there are so many people like probably like your higher socioeconomic group, but when it comes to wellness as well, like purified water and what these people are doing, like they're literally spending tens of thousands of dollars on systems to purify.
I think
water.
purified
I do
is
like that one.
I think purified is
or
great.
air, or it could be it could be a lot of things. It's a great.
Well, and especially so, here's something. We talk about like tenses of names, right? So it's interesting to think like, okay, you got purified, you know, like, or purifying, like, you know, whatever, like the different tenses of the actual word itself. But this version in the past tense to me works really well because it's like the product that you want to get from this is you want the purified version of whatever it is. You want the purified water. You want the purified air. You know what I mean? So it's like, we're talking about selling something. Like if you have a water brand, it's literally just called Purified. Like, I mean, that's like pretty awesome, you know? So
yeah,
Adam, good job mentioning that.
Yeah, I don't know. The last three, Tech Squad, Terrorize, Water Aerobics, they're I mean, I don't know about Terrorize. Water Aerobics is pretty generic. I think that there's probably a couple major players in that aerobics area that probably have some sort of, workout video type of streaming service that could probably use something like that. But they probably tend to use the brand rather than the generic. So I don't know what you do with Terrorize other than maybe
maybe a kid's brand, like
or like haunted house type of thing, or a scary movies or escape rooms or something like that. I think you definitely lean towards something that is in that kind of one I agree. That's one of those
negative. It's kind of that negative connotation there. I've got a few that are kind of in that same vein. And actually, we were presented with one yesterday, and I was just like, it's a cool word, but you might have seen it too, JT. But it's just like,
what do you do with it?
Yeah, what do you do with it? And somebody could create a brand around it. I mean, I got gnarly. Like I think gnarly's kind of.
It's a cool name.
Gnarly's a cool. Gnarly. That's a great name. Gnarly to me is like
the butthole surfers, right?
Yeah, no, like and I don't think of that as negative in any way. I mean, well, obviously the original connotation is negative, but it has since been co-opted by like surfers in a way and skaters that it's now to me it leans more positive than negative. So
yeah, it's dated as well though, so it's kind of a trendy word. But
gnarly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It's begging for a comeback.
It's rad.
Yeah, it's rad. Yeah, but I'm with you on the negative names, and then you also it's something like Terrorize. It's like the whole idea of not all oneword.coms are created equal, and that's where you get into these things around the tenses and then around the connotations and all of that kind of stuff. And so yeah,
but too, isn't it, Jen?
Pardon?
It's a typo too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, for Australians it is.
For Terrorize?
It would be with an S.
Oh.
For non-Americans, yes, this is a typo.
Oh, I thought you guys
For everyone else in the world, yes, this is a typo.
The only time they use a Z is in zebra.
Zebra.
Sorry, zebra or
zebra.
Zed.
So the investigators.
Zed's dead.
Are they in Australia?
Zed's
is that where
dead.
you know what I'm talking about from Netflix? The investigators. We watch that at the house. Kids love it. It doesn't even matter that it's like leans more towards like younger kids. The kids just think it's like awesome. They're just like.
I look forward to hearing their Australian accents.
Yeah. No doubt. She's like, I'm over it now. All right. Well, cool. I think we covered them all. And I think we talked a good bit about names we like, reasons we don't like them. I think Adam's sort of, if I'm summarizing Adam's, kind of direction around this is that generic's good, existing brands bad, which I, makes sense, right? I think you got to be very careful and cautious when you're stepping into existing IP. Would be my sort of further take on it, and obviously it's like the thing that we say every time we talk about buying a domain on our side is just. What's the commercial use? Who's using it, and otherwise, what is the potential commercial use? And if there is none, then it's like, why are we going to spend any money on this? So,
yep.
So all good stuff. All right. Well, I know we said we were going to try to keep it quick. We did an okay job of that. You guys have anything else to cover here before we jump? I appreciate getting Jen back on here since we didn't do a rabbit hole show this month, but we will be back in about 2 weeks with a new rabbit hole show that we're excited about. So get ready for that. What else? Anybody?
I would encourage people on the 5th of the 5th, this Friday, it is International Digital Wellness Day. So if you can take some time to do a little bit of a digital detox, go outside, touch some grass or like sand or whatever you've got in your vicinity.
Or tequila. It's also Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Party time. Like get off your devices, disconnect, reconnect with the people in the real world. And that's all I would like to say.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you very much for this public announcement.
I like it. That's good.
I got one. Send all your ride names to Jen.
Yes. Yeah. She's got success.
I'd be happy to get maximum amount of money out of.
Let it ride. Let it ride, baby. And Ammar, what do you got? You got anything?
I got nothing, bro.
All right.
If anybody's going to NamesCon, let me know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be there, so it'll be fun to see some people. Why am I going? Because I think it'll be fun.
You're going.
Oh, you're going. Yeah.
Don't be defensive, man. Like it's so weird that when we talked about NamesCon on the show and said, hey, we'd like to see, them, kind of step it up, especially for the folks coming from long distances. It turned into such a thing. Like everybody took it like they took it very like almost personal. And it's like, look, we can't make it. It's not anything other than what it is, guys. Like it's all good.
And to be fair, I probably wouldn't go see myself speak. Right. Like I don't go to these, for the most part, I don't go to these shows for the speakers. Right. I mean, once in a while, if there's a great keynote, then I will go listen to it. Like, I'll go listen to Jimmy Wales and there's a couple of sessions I'm going to hit up, but mostly I'm there to see my friends and, and catch up. That's it.
Yeah. No, and I think that's all good. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity to do that. So for everybody who's going, I think that's going to be awesome. Again, we just couldn't make it work, and we talked a little bit about it. Drew was a little bit more like, sort of direct, and I think it was him. Actually, it was him and Adam started talking about it, and and I do think though that the flagship event for the industry, does need to continue to push the thing forward for everybody's benefit. I know Austin's not the easiest place to travel to, but again, we were just sort of like just having a conversation like we do about all things industry related. And it kind of took on a little bit of a life of its own where people seem to really take it personal, and it wasn't intended to be that way. So, but
I'll be in the States in September if anyone wants to come and party. Apparently I'm going to Miami and hang out with JT. So come on, let's go.
Oh, in September. All right.
Yeah.
It's on the calendar.
Let's go. But yeah. All right. Well, cool. I think it's all good. Otherwise, I think we good. Everybody, thank you so much for taking the time. Like I said on every show, it's our privilege to have y'all on here sharing. Congratulations again on the big sale. Ammar, congratulations again on your not as big sale, but it's still great. It's still great.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for kicking it. And to the audience, like I say on every show, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Without you, there is no us. Please make sure that you go ahead. What's going on? What am I missing?
Watching Jen.
Oh, she's like voguing. Oh, she's framing the faces of her two dads. Yes, okay. And I want to say thank you, Jen Sales Singer Strong, for being on the show today, and for the audience for tuning in. If you want to hit us up, let us know you got any questions. We're not hard to find, good, bad, ugly. Please hit us up. Otherwise, we will catch everybody next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Thank you, everybody. See you soon. Peace out.